Hi guys, welcome to a new Blu-ray update. Promised myself I wasn't going to do a proper update until I'd completed my collection videos that I've been filming recently. But I've really felt that I had to kind of make one, otherwise I'd leave myself with a bit of a mountain to climb. Or a kind of 5-part bloody marathon for everybody to sit through. So I thought I'd quickly cut into my collection series, which will be ongoing. I'll have a steelbook one up hopefully today or tomorrow. But for now I'm going to try and get through some of these things that I picked up recently. The first one, we'll get straight into it, is a Masters of Cinema release, and it's a film by Jean-Pierre Melville. It's his debut, I think, his first film. It's Le Silence, Telomere. It's I've yet to see it, but I'm familiar with it from just reading about it and looking up some of the bits and bobs about it. But it's a French resistance film, the German occupation of France in the early 40s. Definitely looking forward to checking it out. I'm kind of a real big fan of these Masters of Cinema series. These are kind of the closest thing I think that the UK are doing at the moment to Criterion releases. So you've got 2 discs there, a big kind of healthy booklet there full of facts and stuff. They do great steelbook releases as well, Masters of Cinema, of which I've got a couple. And it's interesting, looking through my collection, I noticed that I didn't have any Criterion films on Blu-ray yet. I've got about half a dozen on DVD, I think, but I've yet to pick any up on Blu-ray, so I need to get around to that because I know they start to get deleted and skyrocket in price, so definitely need to make a note to pick up some Criterion on Blu-ray. Next up is Michael Gondry's great but audience-splitting Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I remember going to see this in the cinema, crikey, whenever it was it 2004? It might be 2004, I'm not sure. And the cinema was pretty full, but I think there was about 4 people in the whole place who didn't complain about it walking out. It's strange going, people went there to see a Jim Carrey comedy and came away with this, and great turns from Carrey in this and Kate Winslet. Very kind of different look at the kind of, it's not a rom-com, but it has romance and comedy in it, and it's a great kind of original look at a kind of relationship falling apart, if you like. Next up, I finally picked up 30 Days of Night. Great vampire films. One of my favourite vampire films, probably. I'm not that well versed in the kind of vampire movie history, but certainly one of my favourites from recent times. A good brutal kind of vampire film. Was there a sequel to this? I've never seen. I think there was another film which I've never got around to seeing. But yeah, kind of Alaskan winter that kind of goes on for 30 days, and obviously 30 days worth of bloody vampire action in that. Right, another film I haven't seen, which I apologise about because I've been desperate to see this for a long time, and it's just kind of sat around. I need to make time this week to see it, but this is The City of Life and Death, or City of Life and Death, from 2010, yeah. Keep hearing about this, keep hearing great things about it. I'm kind of seeing it now constantly popping up on, the best of Blu-ray lists and best of the year lists, and from 2010 obviously, and best war film lists. I'm about to go through a kind of war historical film marathon. I think I'm picking up more and more of them. I'm going to have a good kind of historical war film session. But yeah, Japanese forces invade China in 1937, and apparently it's supposed to be just an excellent, brutal, realistic war film, which I'm very much looking forward to checking out, so I'll be doing that very soon. And you couldn't get further from that. Next, this is Surf's Up, which is an animated surfing film. I think it's based on like a true story of, or it's based on an actual like kind of life story of a famous surfer. But I'm not too kind of well versed in it, but really enjoyed this film. Looks great on Blu-ray as well. Shocking quote down there from the Sunday Mirror of all places. Parents and kids will love it. Yeah, but yeah, very good. Great voice cast, and just well done. It's kind of done in a kind of mockumentary style, I think, if I remember rightly. Definitely looking forward to checking that out again. Next up, we've got The Orphanage, a great Spanish horror film, which I speak to a lot of people who think that it's directed by Guillermo del Toro. It's in fact not. He presents it. I think he's executive producer on that, which probably means that he's a friend of the director. But yeah, I won't spoil too much about this, but The Orphanage, definitely see, if you're into horror. I'm sure many of you have. I know a lot of you are horror fans. But yeah, very creepy. I won't spoil too much of the plot there. Next up, Miami Vice, Michael Mann. Definitely looking forward to checking this out. It had I remember seeing it in the cinema and it had a very strange tone to it. It was very kind of low key, a lot of it. And it got, I don't know if it got a kind of slating on release for that. You know, maybe the kind of original Miami Vice series was like kind of happy-go-lucky day-glow colours, and this was very, very sombre and serious. But definitely looking forward to checking it out again. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and, you know, big Michael Mann fan, so I'll be there for that one. Next up, a film I actually watched again the other night. This is Vertical Limit. Is it Martin Campbell? Directed by Martin Campbell, yeah. Who directed GoldenEye and one of the Zorro films. Was it the first Zorro film? Kind of absolute splendid nonsense mountaineering rescue film. You know, some of it's, you know, it's about as cheesy as it gets. But I've got a soft spot for this. You know, I enjoy watching it. There's some good stunts and some great scenery and some shocking effects scattered around. Yeah, just daft, crazy fun. Good for a laugh. Next up is Despicable Me, another animated film this time. I think they're doing a sequel to this very soon, or it's literally, it's almost about to arrive, which I'll be looking forward to. Big fan of it. You know, it's very strange because it was a long time since I realised that it was Steve Carell's voice, who was voicing the kind of main guy there. I forget his name, which I apologise about. But there's so many kind of famous actors in this, which is I didn't realise. Watching it the first time round, you know, Jason Segel, Russell Brand, Kristen Wiig, Danny McBride, Julie Andrews as well turns up there. But yeah, it's a great kind of. This is the 2-disc edition. Like, you know, again, good fun. You know, good kind of like easygoing fun. If you're going to kind of sit down and watch French resistance dramas and gritty war films, then it's good to have an outlet in a daft kind of animated comedy as well. And speaking of which, I picked up Family Guy. This is something Dark Side. This is the Family Guy spoof of The Empire Strikes Back. I'm going to get the whole trilogy of these. Big Family Guy fan and obviously a big Star Wars fan, and these do kind of get a mixed review, but I enjoy them. You know, there's so many gags in there that you know, every now and again you come across a cracker, and this is no exception. This is the triple play edition. Yeah, you got your 2 discs in there. So looking forward to checking. I'll probably hang fire on this one until I pick up the other two. I think the first one's the Blue Harvest, is it pretty difficult to get hold of on Blu-ray? I'm not sure. I'll have to have a little look and see. Next up we've got Ridley Scott's Black Hawk Down, great war film, one of my favourites. I haven't, you know, for some reason neglected to pick it up on Blu-ray. This is still sealed. I haven't kind of checked it out yet. Great film. Great sound on this apparently as well. I'm looking forward to some kind of pumping surround sound on that bad boy. So looking forward to putting that in. Next up we've got Valkyrie, starring Tom Cruise, Kenneth Branagh amongst others. Enjoyed this film, you know. Yeah, you know, you've got Cruise as the kind of Nazi guy with the kind of Californian accent or whatever, but you know, the rest of them have got kind of English accents, so I don't think you can really complain. But I enjoyed this. I thought it was a good film. I remember watching it and seeing the kind of beginning sequence in North Africa, and thinking I would like to see a whole. There hasn't been a film done, I don't think, about the war in Africa, the Africa Corps, and the North African campaign. I'd like to see a World War II film dealing with that, a recent one. You know, my favourite ones are obviously Desert Rats. You know, it was James Mason as Rommel. You know, great films. Mel Gibson's Apocalypto, finally picked this up. Great film. You know, I kind of obviously saw it at the cinema, and it wasn't until, was it on TV? I think it was on television in the UK not that long ago, and I caught some little bits of it, and it kind of clicked, and I thought, you know, I definitely need to pick that up on Blu-ray. So looks stunning as well, looks great on Blu-ray. Brutal film, you know, really kind of gritty movie, and a great film from Gibson, a great film to kind of put out there, quite different from his other output. Right, next up is a film that I haven't seen before, or I don't know a great deal about, and this is North Face. I believe it's a German film, or I could be wrong. I think it's a German film. The Summer of 36, 48 hours, and an attempted rescue from the north face of the Eiger Mountain. Yeah, I'm kind of definitely looking forward to checking it out. Heard it's great. Some good reviews on the front there, whether they mean anything or not. But yeah, if you've seen this, then let me know. Quite a few special features on there as well, making of documentaries and visual effects documentaries. But that's North Face. Definitely looking forward to checking that out. Next up, a classic disaster film. This is the Towering Inferno, starring Steve McQueen and Paul Newman, William Holden, Faye Dunaway. There's Richard Chamberlain, O.J. Simpson, Robert Vaughn, Robert Wagner, Fred Astaire, William Holden. I've probably already mentioned. Kind of a sucker for my old kind of cheesy 70s. 74 is this? I can't see, but yeah. Cheesy disaster film. This has got a pile of special features on here as well, about Irwin Allen, who produced it, and some of the special effects. Great kind of cheesy vintage, if you like, disaster movie from the 70s when they did disaster movies properly. I'm surprised they haven't remade this. They remade kind of everything else like Poseidon and whatnot. I'm surprised that hasn't kind of come in for the remake treatment. Next up, I picked up The Adventures of Tintin. This is just the kind of bog standard edition. I know there was a steelbook going around a while ago that everybody seemed to pick up, and I think there's I don't know if it's the Italians who've got a digibook of this, which I didn't realise until I got this, which I'll probably end up picking up because I think it's an Italian digibook. I'll have to double check on that. But this is just the bog standard of that, single disc edition. But great film, really, really big fan of this film. I do hope to continue, because I think that was it Peter Jackson was going to do the next one, and then I think Peter Jackson and Spielberg were going to co-direct a third one. I really, really hope they do that. I'm not sure how well it did at the box office. I'm sure that's a big factor in it, but I really, really enjoyed that. Excellent film. And finally, for this update, I'll cut it off there because I've got some steelbooks and digibooks that I'll do in a separate video. Is a film called Fracture, starring Anthony Hopkins and Ryan Gosling, which again I haven't seen since late 2000s, 2007, 2008 I think, when it was out at the cinema. Great turn by Gosling in this, and Hopkins can do stuff like this in his sleep, but there's several twists at the end of this which make it kind of elevate it above the kind of standard thriller fare. But definitely, if you haven't seen that, check that out. I'm looking forward to kind of revisiting that, seeing Hopkins go up against Gosling again. So yeah, definitely worth a look if you haven't seen that. And that's that for kind of standard keep case editions. I'll be back very, very shortly with another update. I'll do my kind of birthday steelbooks, if you like. There's about 7 or 8 that I'll do in a video, and probably before that you'll see the 6th part, I think it is, of my Blu-ray collection, which is the steelbooks. I'll try and get that filmed today or tomorrow. Tomorrow at the latest. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your comments and your subscribers, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. See you later, guys. Bye bye.